probably representing the most informal part of the Estonian government here today. Can I just see show of hands who has heard about Estonia? The country. Good. Thank you. That gives me some kind of confidence that my speech is actually going to the right target group, because I won't be talking about where Estonia is or why Estonia is, but I will be talking about a special little program that we are doing in Estonia called e-Residency. Where is Estonia? I just said that I won't talk about it, but I will just in case. Here you'll see the geographic location where we are at. It's a cold country. We don't like other people very much. We have 1.3 million people, and as you can see, we have 45,000 square kilometers. That means that the people are very spread out. We don't like other people. We have, in Estonia, the smartest digital solutions. So our country actually runs on cloud. Everything, every interaction that you have with the Estonian government is through digital identity. So we don't go to government offices physically, because going back in our history 30 years ago, when we became free from the Soviet occupation, we didn't have any money to actually create government institutions and to have people there physically. So what we did create was this infrastructure that you didn't have to communicate with the government physically, but you could do that digitally. So today, the only two things that you can't do digitally in Estonia is getting married or divorced or selling real estate. So for these two things, you have to go to the notary. We still have notaries in Estonia. But we are working on it. Estonia's best kept secrets. Internet is a social right, so we have internet connection everywhere. Every Estonian resident has an electronic ID which helps him to actually communicate with the government. So some of you have these electronic identities on your tables. You can actually see what it looks like. So we use that card to communicate with our government. Why? Because, first of all, it saves time, it saves money. We don't have too many queues. You don't have to go to hospitals to get your information about your previous scans, for example. You can do that online. We pay our taxes online, and we communicate with each other mostly online. So here you can see the amount of paper that we save actually monthly without using paper or physical paper, so to say. We are voted as the best tax collector in the world, because filing a tax report in Estonia takes about 30 seconds. The state calculates the tax for you, and you just have to confirm it online. The business environment. Why e-Residency is key here and important, that you can run your business completely online. You don't have to go anywhere physically, and we have recently made this available for foreigners as well. So it's not just residents that can take part of this Estonian economic Narnia, so to say. But it really takes a few hours to start a company, and we have made it available for everyone. So everyone can apply for e-Residency from our online application platform and can use the services. So what you can do with the electronic ID, as I mentioned, you can sign documents digitally, you can communicate with the government, the public sector, and the private sector. So in Estonia, when you sign a paper or a contract using a pen, it is very suspicious, because you can always fake the signature. How we sign contracts in Estonia is using the digital identity, so you can see from the screen that you have a USB card reader, you plug in the card, and you have two sets of PIN codes. So you use these PIN codes to actually sign the documents with each other. And this is way more safe than any physical signature is or ever will be. You can have access to education. We have online courses where you can register. You have public transport, all means of communication with the public and private sector. You can also encrypt documents with each other, so peer-to-peer encryption. You can conduct e-banking and remote money transfer. So the main value proposition of e-Residency is that you don't have to be in Estonia. You can be here in Turkey, but you can have a company in EU. So you can manage your business from here. So we call ourselves a digital nation. We are serving global citizens, and we are inclusive, legitimate, transparent, and empowering. How to become an e-resident? So every one of you can actually become e-Estonians. So follow these simple steps. You go to eresident.gov.ee. You have to have your photo, passport. You have to have an actual identity. So you have to make a copy of that passport and enter your personal details into our platform. This information goes to the Estonian police. The Estonian police will check if you don't have any bad history. So e-residency is a privilege, not a right. And you're issued the e-residency from one of 40 embassies of Estonia all around the world. So for example, here in Turkey, you could go to Ankara and you could get the e-residency card from the embassy. The ambassador or the consul will make a face-to-face recognition and will take your biometric data and will issue the card. So from there, Estonian government has verified your identity and you can become an e-resident and you can create a company to Estonia. Who are these e-residents and what do they do? So the business cases, there are many different ones, but mostly e-residency is for these entrepreneurs who don't have access to business tools in their home countries, or they want to have a legal representation in European Union. So they want to run a business from EU because they have customers there, because they want to have customers there, or they have some motivation of why they don't run a business in their home country. Until today, we have around 25,000 e-residents. So these 25,000 e-residents have created over 3,000 companies to Estonia, and they're all managed remotely. So using e-residency from anywhere in the world. So they don't have to come to Estonia to file their taxes. They can do it from here or there. And why we are doing this as a country or as a project of a government is that we believe that the world kind of gig economy will take over of how the future of work is going to be. And there are many surveys, but we see that everywhere, that freelancers, the younger generation, do not want to work for one company for 50 years. They want to work for several companies, and they might have several employers, and they want to travel around in different locations. So we believe that there has to be one kind of country, or there should be at least one kind of country who serves for these kinds of citizens, the citizens of a free world. Different value propositions will be in different parts of the world, and we believe that there is one kind of digital identity that could actually bring these value propositions together. And through the digital identity, through these value propositions, offer something extra. So whether financial services, public services, whatever that might be, there has to be one country who is actually ahead of its game and offering these services. So for example, location independence in general, financial inclusion, or just empower the people who didn't have the opportunities before. You probably have seen this graph somewhere in social media before. This illustrates how the world is changing. The biggest companies of our time who actually do not own any assets. So their employees, so to say, or the people who are working for the companies own the assets. And we made one simple modification here that we can be the largest country in the world, but we don't have to have these people in Estonia physically. Thank you.